Well, hello, you guys, and welcome to our Tuesday night Zoom class. I'm excited to have you guys here. Just want to do a shout out and welcome Diane and Tammy and Jackie and Leisha. We've got a couple numbers on here. I don't know who it is. And so I just want to say welcome, welcome. And as we get going through class, if you guys have any questions or have any comments, please put them in the chat. We are here to be able to help each other, support each other. And tonight's class is a little bit different. And so whether you're watching live with us or you're watching the replay, I am really excited to teach this class. I use essential oils in my kitchen all the time. As a matter of fact, there's hardly a recipe of anything that I make that I don't use essential oils in. Once I have discovered the magic behind them and how much better my cooking is, or the flavor is like this big, beautiful burst of flavor that you can't get very easily, especially if it's during different seasons and different times. So, all right, we're going to get going. You guys, my name is Haley. I am joining you guys from Elko, Nevada. And why is my screen? There we go. All right, let's see. We might be having, I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, so as we are diving into cooking with essential oils, I want to first put out there that we are not the same as other essential oil companies. When I'm giving you guys recipes and I'm talking about different tips and the ways that you can use them, especially for internal purposes, I want you to know that I am speaking to doTERRA only. It is the one that I use because I know that it is tested, I know that it is safe, and I know that there's science that backs the benefits that we can get from it. Not only does it taste amazing, but there's a lot of different benefits for our health and emotions as well. So just like looking at this picture, and we're going to come back to this in a minute, that, when people say, oh, I know, I've got this one, I found it at the grocery store, the health food store, the gas station, or whatever. Sometimes people will also make the claim that, oh, ours is just like doTERRA. And I'm here to say that's like saying the bowl of fruit on the top left-hand corner is the same as the bowl of fruit on the bottom. Now, as you guys can see, and you're super smart who are watching this, we know that there is no comparison, that there's all kinds of different, chemicals and alterations and, pesticides, everything that can get in those artificial flavors and artificial colors that now have side effects that we experience the more we're learning about it. Now, here is one of the ways that doTERRA is different. We have every bottle has CPTG, which is certified pure tested grade essential oil. Now, in order to have that on the label, it must not have any kind of fillers, no synthetic ingredients, and we don't dilute and make it go a long ways. Now, in some of our rollers and some of our recipes and things, you guys, it might be too potent, or there might be too much with a drop. So I'm going to teach you guys some tips on how you can get less than a drop of an oil in your recipes. Now, the other thing is doTERRA's plants are grown from their ideal environments, which means they go to the natural origin. So that lemons look like lemons and taste like lemons and are full of nutrients and benefits, where if I were to grow a lemon where I live, it would not, probably wouldn't even turn yellow. And so you can only imagine the difference in benefits from one versus the other. We also do multiple tests from the time that before they even look at the fruit or the spice or the tree itself, they test the soil that it's being grown in, because what we know that even if the soil has something in it, then it's going into the plant and therefore it's going into the essential oil. Now, because of these differences that are on the market, we can use doTERRA's oils topically, aromatically, and one of my most favorite ways is internally. Now, here's just a quick slide that kind of talks about, the different things that are extremely important to doTERRA. So, and I already mentioned about the plant quality and sourcing and how it's, got the right condition. It also is ethically sourced. We use something called co-impact sourcing, where they pay real wages to people with small farms as well as larger farms. We don't go to big groups and large corporations for our stuff. Also, something I love is over 95% of our essential oils are proprietary sourcing for us, which is just one more claim that when people say, oh yeah, we're just like doTERRA, there's no way they can be. They're also very efficient in the way that they work. They are concentrated, they work on a cellular level, and you're sitting here going, well, what does this matter if we're cooking with our essential oils? Well, when we start to compare, what the spices are in our kitchen cupboard and the quality, the smell, the amount that you need to use versus our essential oils, you're going to see why that is important. And I also want to just bring up that, they are pennies per dose. I'm going to give you a couple of examples here in just a second. Now, one of my favorite things is, are they safe to ingest? Now, when you're looking at your doTERRA bottles, you can always turn to the back side of it and it will always have supplement facts if it is meant for ingest or internal purposes. I love these facts that are on here. You can also go to the code that's on the bottom of the bottle. You can put that code in sourcetoyou.com and it will take you to the exact place and time and the tests that were done on the essential oils that are in that bottle. That is how we are able to say that it's 100% pure, it's unadulterated. So you don't have any risk of, addiction. And so in some of our other classes, we talk about pain and, inflammation and different things. And so many people, and especially some when we have different things that we're dealing with, they're very, very quick to hand out over-the-counter prescriptions that could cause side effects that are long-term. They are plant-based, and not only are they the most tested and trusted essential oil on the market, but I know there's millions of people around the world who are depending on essential oils like doTERRA for much more than just to have their home smell good. I want to just throw in here really quick that in order for an essential oil to have 100% pure essential oil on the bottle, it only has to have 10% of the pure oil in the bottle. So that leaves a lot of room in that bottle for them to put something in it that could be, not good for our bodies, especially if we're taking them internally. And those labels, when you flip them over, they'll say, do not ingest, do not use topical. And I'm going, well, what would we use it for if we're not using it for all the things that we need essential oils for? Now, when you look at this picture, it's one of my favorites. This is one of the pictures in our recipe book that essential oils are 50 to 70 times more potent than the herbs themselves. So what that means is when you take something like peppermint and you dry it, it loses some of its compounds and some of its chemistry. And so even though you can make a great cup of tea with dried peppermint leaves, with 1 drop of our essential oil, you can get 28 cups of peppermint tea, which just shows how good it is. And there's a huge difference in the taste and the smell. These are just some of the oils that we have access to in our kitchen. Okay, here's another screenshot of what you might be able to use with some of these oils for. So most of the herb oils like thyme, oregano, cilantro, you're able to use them in, butters and rubs and to be able to flavor and season, different meat dishes. We once had a contest here locally where we made barbecue sauce and everybody had to use an essential oil in it. And other than that, they could use whatever they wanted. And we came up with some really great different barbecue sauces just from using our essential oils. I also love the spice oils because we have things like cassia, ginger, cinnamon, and they're really great for anything respiratory. But in our food, they're great in pies and cookies and different kinds of drinks. And I've got some recipes for you coming up in just a minute. And so I'm excited to share these with you guys. And remember, as we're going through this class, feel free to take screenshots of any of these. Okay, so I want to just kind of go back to, are they affordable? Now, here's a chart that shows how, so in a 15 ml bottle, there are 250 drops. A dose or a usage in when we're making recipes and things is a drop or less. So this kind of shows you how affordable they are. Down on the bottom, I have peppermint tea, and I added a drop of lemon just because a lot of times people will take just plain water. You can warm water, add a drop of lemon and a drop of peppermint. To taste, you might want to add a little bit of honey or something. But you guys, even with a drop of lemon and peppermint, it's 36 cents for a cup of tea that is fresh and tastes better than anything that you can get on the market. So I want you to just kind of look at when you're comparing it to, a tea bag or something, we're not only saving money, but there's no waste and it tastes amazing. Okay, so here are some ratios when you're cooking with essential oils. This is a really great one to probably take a screenshot of, because if the recipe calls for a tablespoon or a teaspoon of ginger, then you could use 1 drop of our ginger. All of these ratios are for 1 drop. I don't remember if I put that on here somewhere. I probably need to fix it. But anyway, so if your recipe calls for a 2 teaspoons of oregano, then you would do 1 drop of oregano oil. Now, some of these oils are a little bit hotter, and some of them are a little bit, like all the citrus, are a little bit more gentle. So a lot of times you'll need more of the citrus oils than you will of the herbs or the spices. You guys, this is just a guideline also. So remember that, when you're cooking for your family, just like you would any other recipe, I'm going to recommend to start with less, and then you can increase it as you go. I have, like I said, I've replaced so many of the fresh ingredients as far as herbs and citruses and spices with my essential oils. And here on the left-hand side, here's a great tip, is start with less. You can always add more. So when I first started with doTERRA, I was hosting a lot of get-togethers, and so I'd always make salsa and guacamole. And I would never forget the first time I made guacamole, and I had all my recipe and I put all the stuff in it, and I went to put the cilantro in, and 2 drops came in. And I thought, oh, no big deal. And I stir it up and I taste it. It was like, oh my gosh. So I had to go to the grocery store and buy more cilantro. Now, it's a stronger flavor. Some people are okay with that. And some people are like, oh, that's really overpowering. We've used these oils on everything from hummus. And so one of the things that I like to do, especially if I'm hosting a workshop or a class, is we'll take a couple of maybe 2 or 3 different things of just plain hummus, and then we'll season one with like lemon and black pepper is one of my favorites. Another really great one is basil, or you could do like lemongrass if you want more of a Asian type flair to it. We've also done where we'll put like ginger and cinnamon or cassia in there and have it be a little bit more sweet, where we'll have people sample it with little graham crackers or something like that. Okay, so one of the things that I would love to teach you guys about is you heard me say less than 1 drop for some of our cooking, especially with our herb oils. And so what we do is we'll take the lid off the top of the bottle, we'll take a clean toothpick and we'll put it down into the orifice of the bottle, and then we'll bring it back out and we just kind of take that toothpick and we'll swirl it around in our recipe. And if you need more, then I get a new toothpick and I'll put it down in there again and I'll just swirl it in the recipe. A great example is something like, I just got done making some homemade potato soup, and it'd be really easy to tip that bottle over and put a drop of black pepper in there. And instead, what I did is I dropped a drop in a spoon, and then I took the end of a fork and I dipped it in the essential oil, and then I swirled it through the recipe. I'll also do that with like different teas and things when I'm making them, or if I'm making, like lemonade or something, and I want to add a little bit of, say, lavender to it. I'll just put a toothpick down in the lavender, and then I'll take it and I'll swirl it around in the lemonade, and then I'll taste it. And if it needs more, then I get a new toothpick and drop it down in there. Um, on the bottom of here, it'll show you that 1/2 teaspoon of a dried herb equals 1.5 teaspoons of a fresh herb, and that would equal 2 to 3 toothpick swirls. And I know, so if that's confusing, I just want to remind you guys back to how potent the oils are versus the herb or the fresh herbs. Now, you guys, if you go out into your garden and you grab a, hunk of peppermint or something, you know that you can put that in your recipe. You can just put it on the side of a recipe for garnish and things, and you're not really going to get the flavor from that unless you kind of rub it in your hands or something. And that's how doTERRA actually gets their peppermint oil, is from steam distillation from the leaf, and the oil's on the top of the leaf, and they extract that out. It's so exciting and so amazing. Hey, if you guys are here, if you're using essential oils to cook with, I know this was going to sound like a trick question, but will you tell us what your favorite essential oil is for cooking? Not for a beverage, not for baking, but for cooking. I'm going to highlight oregano here is because 'tis a season for people to have a little bit of, body aches and colds and snotty noses and things like that. Oregano is not only very beneficial for us on an emotional benefit, but it's really great to boost our immunity, and it's a powerful one. So I've got a recipe up here for a Bloody Mary, and uh, you guys, there's so many experiences of people using essential oils, and when you do make a oops, I promise you, you'll never make it again, or you'll just be more careful the next time. We were teaching people about using oregano and how they could replace, any of the herbs and different spice mixes and things like that by just putting essential oils in. And somebody had taken a picture of Bloody Marys and they had dropped in 1 or 2 drops of oregano, I can't remember, and they stir it up, and they're taking a taste. They're like, holy cow! It's not only warm, like a pepper hot, but it was also very strong. But with knowing what the benefits were of oregano, they were like, we're still drinking it. We're drinking it no matter what. And so just remember that all of these are safe to use internally. And if you ever have too much of it, or you get it on your skin or something, you can always use fractionated coconut oil, or I'm sure now our new castor oil, and put it over the area, and it will help to quickly dilute that. I want to also show that we've got our Immune Boost roller. This is one that we use all the time for the season, all the way through the season. And if you look at the essential oils that are in it, you'll see that it has tea tree, which is one of our herbs, on guard, which is a blend of a lot of our different proprietary oils. We've got lemon and oregano. Super awesome. And you can take these internally, or you can use them topically. Okay, you guys, I could go on for a very, very long time and share with you guys so many recipes, but one of my recipes looks like it's not showing up, which is a lemonade with super mints. I don't know what is going on with that. But 'tis a season for gatherings and hostess parties and gift giving, and gosh, everything from office to friends and family. So I've got a spice wassail recipe, which is 2 cups of apple juice, 1 cup of cranberry juice. We have 1 drop of lemon, 1 drop of clove, and 1 drop of cinnamon, and then 3 drops of wild orange. What I love to do with this is just mix it all up together, and then I'll put it in like a crock pot or something, or I'll put it on my stove in a pan, and I'll just, warm it up and let it just heat on medium. And people love it. This one is really good, is very refreshing. It kind of reminds me of like an apple pie or something like that in a beverage. We also have a pumpkin spice creamer, and then a winter white hot chocolate. You guys, we have so many recipes that just by taking a cup of warm hot chocolate, any kind you have, and adding a little, either a drop or a swirl of peppermint or in there, just stir it up really good. I also love to make my own version of like a Mexican hot cocoa, where I'll take a little bit of cassia, I'll take that rich chocolate, and then I'll add a little bit of vanilla essential oil to it, and I just stir it up. And, sometimes I'll add a marshmallow and sometimes I don't. But anytime we make this, my family and my friends just absolutely love it. There really is no end to what you can create when you're using essential oils in your kitchen. Okay, here, because we are going into the season when we are eating a lot of yummy treats, and we might be, having cocktails or mocktails or lots of sugar or just the sweets, and maybe eating a little bit more than we normally do. I put this recipe up here for a morning detox tea. So it's 6 ounces of water, and you guys, you'll see here where it has a drop of lemon and also a drop of a slice of fresh lemon. We get different benefits from the lemon oil that we do from the fruit itself. And so when people say, "Oh yeah, I use lemon for this or that," especially when you want the zest of a lemon, that's when you could use the essential oil. But I love the taste of any of our citrus oils in tea. This one, I also add a drop of ginger sometimes. It gives it that little spicy kick, and it really boosts your immunity and helps with, anything that's going on. And, I love taking and making my own tea at night before I go to bed at night. One of my favorites is I'll take warm water and I'll put 1 or 2 drops of fennel and then 1 drop of lavender. And I stir it up and I just sip on it. And you guys, it is so much better than, I have a brand that I buy. Yogi Tea makes one that's like a something licorice and it has so much more flavor, and it's super soothing, and I absolutely love it. Okay, so oh gosh, you guys, I don't know what's going on with my slides tonight, why my pictures aren't showing up. But this is for golden milk. We do have all of these recipes in our recipe book, and a lot of them might be found on our Good Vibes page, just going in and searching golden milk. Over time, we've gotten other essential oils, so they might have changed the recipes just a little bit. But this one, if you've ever drank golden milk or made your own, you know that turmeric powder is super orangish color, and if it gets on anything in your kitchen or your shirt, your clothes, it's going to leave a really nice stain for you. And so what I love now that we have our oil is I'll just put a drop of that. You can also substitute the milk for whatever kind of milk you like. You could omit the water, just depending on how creamy you want your golden milk. I actually took the oils that are in this recipe that are shown, and I put them in a repurposed oil bottle, so that when I'm ready and I have it labeled on, and it just sits on my counter and it says golden milk. And so anytime I want to make something like this, I'll put it in my coffee. I'll put it in my, just hot water. Sometimes I'll add milk or cream to it. Sometimes I don't. It just depends on my mood. And so it's so good, so refreshing. And there are so many great benefits from cinnamon, ginger, and turmeric oil as far as inflammation and just helping to support your body. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm not really sure what this picture was. I don't know. This was working just fine before I came here. Maybe my internet's not up too good. Okay, you guys. Oh, I know what it was. It was spiced honey. You guys, you can use this spiced honey, and this is a recipe that we use often. It's one of our most gifted or sold items in my store. We use a local honey when we can, because there's a lot of really great benefits for local honey as far as it's rich in antioxidants. It can help with seasonal threats and things like that. But we'll make this honey up using the oils that are listed here. And then once you have the honey made, you can add the honey. Like I'll take a bowl of fresh fruit and I'll just take that, the honey, and I'll just drizzle it over the top, slightly, stir it up a little bit, and it's amazing. Anytime I get invited to a office party or a potluck or anything where people ask me to bring food, I always bring something with essential oils in it, and people, it never fails. People are always like, what is in that? What did you use? Can you give me your recipe? And I know it's because of the essential oils and how they give that flavor boost to every recipe. You could also put the spiced honey in baked oatmeal or hot oatmeal. I know people who've added it to, gosh, we're getting ready to add just the essential oils in here, which is our flavors of fall oils or spicy orange. You'll see it on both different recipes, but it's the same exact oils. Tomorrow night, we're getting ready to make a cozy creamer where we are taking non-dairy powdered milk. You can find all kinds of different ones. And we're adding a little bit, people could use a powdered sugar or a brown sugar. And then we're taking a solid coconut oil and we're just mixing it up really good, adding those essential oils. And again, I take a old bottle, a repurposed bottle, and I'll add these oils in there. And then I just have it labeled flavors of fall, and then I can add it to anything that I want. Anything that you want to add a little bit of spice to, like pumpkin pie, spiced bread, pumpkin rolls, any kind of granola, you name it. Apple pie, pumpkin pie. I think I might have already said that, but it just makes it so much better.
Haley, sorry to interrupt, but we are seeing your slides, just
Oh,
so
you
you
are?
know. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Are you seeing the pictures in all of them, Diane?
Yep, we're seeing everything, Haley.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop apologizing then. Here we go.
Okay, just keep going. You're doing great.
Thanks for letting me know. Okay.
No worries. Okay, bye-bye.
Not only does, when it starts to get cold outside, I love things that are warm and cozy, comfort food, and anytime we can have something that we could use it multiple ways, I love recipes like this. So this is crock pot cranberry sauce. You do put all of the ingredients that's shown here in a crock pot. One tip that I have for you guys is when you're using essential oils to cook with, add the essential oils after the product is made. So if you're doing this crock pot sauce, wait till everything is in there, get it simmering, get it kind of cooked down a little bit, and then I'll add the essential oils so that they're not cooking off and the flavor's not leaving with the heat. Okay, so this cranberry sauce, you guys, things that I do with it. So while it's hot, I will serve a scoop of it over vanilla ice cream. It is delicious. People always rant and rave about it. You can also just add it to like your Thanksgiving dinner. If you're being asked to bring something to a Thanksgiving dinner, this would be a great thing to put in a jar, like a jam or jelly jar. And then the hostess could just warm it up. They could use it later. You could put it on fresh sourdough bread. You could add a scoop of it to a smoothie if you want to. Another thing that I love doing with it is I'll take like a Sprite or some kind of 7-Up or something, and I'll put ice, and then I'll put just a little bit of this cranberry in the top of it, and I'll add a couple of drops of lime oil and stir it up, and you can serve that as like a cocktail or a mocktail. If I was making it into a cocktail, I would use ginger ale, and then I might put a little bit of like tequila or rum. Spiced rum would be really good in it, and you can just kind of play with that. But you guys, I love having this made up, and then I'll just keep it in a jar in my fridge, and we use it for all kinds of things. Okay, so 'tis the season for peppermint. Although I think you could use this peppermint any time of the year. You could just leave out the candy cane. People love mint. It's very refreshing. It's very light. So this is another favorite recipe that we make. all the time, and it's so super easy and it's amazing. So 1 gallon of vanilla ice cream, you soften it, you add 2 cups of half and half, and then 2 cups of chilled sparkling water. Now, if you want it to be a little sweeter, you could add ginger ale or a 7-Up or a Sprite or something, and then 10 drops of peppermint oil. Now, when I make this, I usually add about 15 drops of peppermint oil, or you can also substitute the peppermint with supermint. If people like more of a spearmint flavor, then that peppermint is going to just be delicious in there. You put everything in a bowl, and then you just go ahead and you can, dip the edges of the glasses or the mugs or whatever in like water. I like to take a brand new sponge. I'll put water on it, and then I'll just kind of turn the cups over, get it wet a little, and then you can make a little garland. You could do like a sugar or something. These would be really great to serve at a kids party, at a girls spa party, just all kinds of fun things. All right, so I want to remind you guys that even though we have all these recipes, we have a few days left of pumpkins. And so super easy, you guys can take a small spray bottle. Again, I love to use our repurposed bottles. You can buy the spray tops for them at Oil Life or Aroma Tools. You can probably find them all over the place. But just being able to take a few drops of On Guard. I also add a couple of drops of tea tree oil, naturally antifungal, antibacterial, anti-mold, all that stuff. Shake that up really good. And then once we cut our pumpkins, before we do the candle and all of that, we spray the inside of it with this spray, and it helps them to last a lot longer. Then I also like to take the pumpkin seeds out, clean them off really good, and then I will bake them in the oven. And I also make a spray, and you guys, I love black pepper. So you can take any herbs that you want or any sweeter ones, but I take black pepper and a little bit of oregano, and I put it in, and lemon oil, and I put it in a spray bottle, shake it up really good. I spritz over the entire sheet of pumpkin seeds, and then I take some coarse salt and I just kind of go over it, and then I bake it. They're really, really good and good for you. Okay, so I want to give you guys a couple of tips before we go, especially when we're thinking of cooking, is a drop or less for pennies. So when you're looking at your herbs, and if you have a great garden and you have access to all that, lucky you. But we are going into a cooler season where a lot of those fresh herbs and things are not available. Where we live out here in the middle of the high desert, we can get some of them, but usually when we can also buy them at the grocery stores, but they don't last very long. And so we end up throwing away a lot of different things because we didn't have time to use all of it. I want to remind you that on the essential oils that there is no expiration date. That means there's no waste. So if you have a bottle of cinnamon oil or, basil or something, as long as it's in that bottle, you can use it. And a little tiny bit is all you really need to give that boost of flavor and enhance anything that you're cooking. So you can add them to your food, your beverages. It just makes it better and better and better. So like I said at the very beginning, there's hardly a thing that I use in my kitchen or cook that I don't use essential oils for. I'm going to recommend that you find a place in your kitchen to store all of your oils. So I have a drawer that has all of mine sitting in it. I have a box that sits on my counter that has the cooking oils, or the ones that I use most often in that area. And I just find that, if they're there where we can see them, we're going to use them. You guys get them out and try them. The first thing you can do is you're not going to make any mistakes. Don't worry about any of that. And just practice. Practice makes even better. And another thing that I do is most every recipe, I go through and I'm going, okay, so if it says 1 tablespoon of oregano, then I know that I can use a drop of oregano or less. And then, of course, we want to buy below wholesale. So when we're buying at the store, we're, buying all these jars of herbs and, lemon juices in containers and things like that. We're paying full retail for them. And like I said, a lot of that stuff goes to waste before we even get to use it. Now, I'm going to challenge you guys to a sniff test. Now, what I want you to do is take any herb that you have in your kitchen cupboard. So this could be cinnamon, this could be clove, this could be oregano, it could be thyme, cilantro. I mean, you name it, any of them that are in there, turmeric. And I want you to open up the jar and smell it, and then also, if you dare, lick your finger, touch it in the powder, and then taste it and just see the taste. Then take the same essential oil, open it up and smell it. I promise you're going to be blown away at the difference in smell and taste and flavor. And then all of this stuff that I've been talking about of how potent they are and how much more flavor they add, and how people absolutely love cooking with essential oils, you're going to understand it. It's amazing. So my husband was, making something. I can't remember if it was chili or what he was doing, but he was talking about all these different herbs and things, and, went to the store and bought all these powders and all this stuff. And I'm like, Rick, have you even tried using essential oils in your recipes? Because, we've been doing this for a long time, and he uses them for his body, but not in his cooking. And so I went to the cupboard and I did like two or three. I found anise, right? Because we're getting ready for that. And I had the anise oil. I found cinnamon was definitely one, because you can really tell a huge difference. So not only, so when people are dealing with blood sugar issues, sometimes the doctors will say, oh yeah, you'll need to put like a tablespoon or something, or here in today's world, you're going to have to put a cup of cinnamon powder on your in your oatmeal to get the benefits of it, where you could also take and have 1 or 2 drops of cinnamon and have so much more flavor and actual get the benefits from the plant, the bark. Okay, so I got to go one more step further, you guys, because we're going to go into a little bit of foundational information. So, again, when we look at this beautiful green drink in the middle, we now have our VMG Plus, and it's just loaded full of fresh fruits and vegetables and minerals and all the things that we need. And a lot of times, what we're actually getting when we're buying some of those blended drinks at the grocery store, or, different powders and things, is you're getting that bowl of Fruit Loops. They don't tell you, and the nutrients is shown on the package, but what are you really getting in there? Are they using a lot of dyes and colors and chemicals and things to get the ingredients? So check your labels, you guys. So our foundational wellness is amazing. So like I just mentioned and showed the VMG, we also have our omegas, which are from the Nordic seas, which are amazing. So it's so much more than just an omega. We have EPA and DHA and omega 3s, and this is everything for your heart and your brain health and our gut health, which is our PB Restore, which is our pre, pro, and postbiotics. More people have gut issues today than ever before, and our bodies aren't able to absorb some of the nutrition that we're putting in them. And these products are all bioavailable, which means our body can take them and absorb them. As a matter of fact, science has shown that our VMG is available for our bodies for up to at least 8 hours a day. Okay, so you guys, I am not going to spend a lot of time here, because I want you to reach out to the person who invited you here and find out what are all the free gifts that I could get. When you first purchase the 100 PV order on our rewards, you get this great little sample set. Every month, you could get a free 5 ml bottle of oil. Now, these are not just oils that are expired or they're trying to get rid of or they have an overstock in. These are the top oils that people reach for in doTERRA on a daily basis. And then, of course, when you get introduced to the foundational wellness, if you buy those bundles, you're going to get a free shaker bottle and a bottle of peppermints. This is just a quick slide showing the benefits from our rewards program. It is the only way that I'll purchase. You'll hear people talking about, gosh, you can get it below wholesale. Well, the way we get it below wholesale is when we purchase on rewards, we're getting points back for every dollar we spend, which does not happen at the grocery store when you're buying all those herbs and fresh things and citruses and things. And then you can get, everything from free shipping to rewards product to discounted above that. And we've got some really great promotions coming in November. Okay, I'm not sure. Is there something on this? Can you see something here, Tammy? Or is it a blank screen?
Nope, just a white screen.
Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna go one more then. Oh, that last one was our recipe book. So you guys, a lot of the stuff, we have over 300 recipes. I think we have more like 600 or 700 recipes in our recipe book for Good Vibes. If you're interested in that, there's everything you need to learn how to use your essential oils to cook with, especially for the holidays. And you can find that information in our Good Vibes page, or reach out to one of us and we'll make sure you guys get that. We also, if you're here local, we're doing DIY workshops. So every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m., we have a different workshop tomorrow night. And if you're watching this recording, it's probably, let's see, it's October 29th of 2025. If you're here local, reach out to us and we'll let you know what we're making and taking. So, and then the QR code is if you want to be reminded or follow us on social media or get our newsletter, you can find all of that information by just going to the QR code and opening it up. All right, we're going to go ahead and thank everybody who joined us here live. We're going to say goodbye to those who are watching the recording so that we can go into our question answers and sharing more of our recipes.